More disturbing videos coming right at you. Let's get into it. Lock in and buckle up, because you're in for another creepy and scary TikTok that might just have you rethink your whole reality. I'm JetskiChucK. Let's get after it. Don't miss near the end where we find out the true meaning of love. Are you saying
Valentine's Day, a day of love, chocolates, and roses. But what if I told you that the origins of this holiday are much darker than you think? Valentine's Day has its roots in the pagan festival of Lupercalia, a time of animal sacrifice, violent rituals, and wild orgies. But even more disturbing is the story of Saint Valentine, an innocent priest who was executed for his beliefs. His story was co-opted by the church to create the Valentine's Day we know today. And now, this holiday is nothing more than a marketing ploy to boost sales and consumerism to distract us from the darker origins of this day. So, as you celebrate Valentine's Day, remember its dark past and the commercialization that it has become. Happy Valentine's Day.
They say every single holiday that we celebrate is celebrating one of the 7 deadly sins. Every single holiday. Okay. Think about it. The easiest one, Valentine's Day, celebrates the sin of lust.
Okay.
Thanksgiving, that celebrates the sin of gluttony.
Gluttony, yeah, because you're eating.
Because you're eating a lot. You're overeating. You're taking too much more than you need.
Yeah.
Now, Christmas, what do you think that is?
Christmas. Greed?
Greed.
Yeah.
Overconsumption and excess.
Okay.
Right? Wanting more of something.
That makes
We're
sense.
celebrating gifts. We're celebrating gifts. We're not really even celebrating the birth of Christ because people are so focused on the gifts and shit. St. Patrick's Day. It's sloth because people get blacked out drunk.
Oh, what the fuck?
For most people today, Valentine's Day is just regarded as a secular commercial day of love. A date where people show their significant other that they love them. Where did Valentine's Day come from? Many people think that it's just one of those American holidays that we just partake in. It's just something that we as Americans do. But the celebration of Valentine's Day is not American. Others like to believe that it is a Christian holiday because it was named after a Christian saint by the Roman Catholic Church. But the truth is that Valentine's Day was made by the Roman Catholic Church to Christianize the pagan celebration of Lupercalia. Lupercalia was one of the most ancient Roman festivals, which was celebrated every year in honor of Lupercus, the god of fertility, also known as the god Faunus. This festival, which celebrated the coming of spring, included fertility rites, orgies, fornication, sex with minors, drunkenness, and other activities like the pairing off of women with men by lottery. Lupercalia was a fertility festival dedicated to Faunus, as well as to the founders of Rome.
That thing looks crazy. Look at it. I'm not listening to nothing they talking about when they looking like that.
Is Valentine's Day really the cutesy holiday we all think it is? History says no. First references to Valentine's Day can be found in the ancient Roman celebration of Lupercalia. However, the celebration isn't the same as you may expect. The February 15th event began with the traditional sacrifice of an unfortunate goat and dog. The Luperci, a group of priests, would then take off a piece of skin from the 2 animals, touch it to their foreheads, and struck every woman in the area with it. They thought it may help them have more babies. The 5th century came to a close. Pope Gelasius I had enough with the Lupercalia celebrations and introduced St. Valentine's Day in its place. Just like that, February was no longer about sacrifice. It was about love. Around the same time, the Normans started celebrating Galatins Day. Galatin basically meant lover of women. Given their similar pronunciations, it's easy to see how people could have confused that with St. Valentine's Day. And as time went on, the holiday evolved more and more to what we know it has today.
Valentine's Day. We all know it as a time to celebrate romance and love. But the origins of this festival of roses, chocolate, and Cupid are actually quite dark. In fact, bloody. So what exactly is the story behind this lovey-dovey holiday? We'll have to take a trip to ancient Rome. But before we get going, please like and subscribe. Ancient Rome. A place of diverse, rich culture and history, inspired by the many gods. Jupiter, Neptune, Mars, Venus, and more. There were so many festivals in ancient Rome. But today, we'll be taking a look at the festival of Lupercalia, celebrated from February 13th to February 15th. Lupercalia was Proto-Valentine's Day. But it definitely wasn't celebrated the way it is today. Lupercalia was a fertility festival dedicated to Faunus, the Roman god of agriculture, as well as to the Roman founders Romulus and Remus. To begin the festival, members of the Luperci, an order of Roman priests, would gather at a sacred cave where the infants, Romulus and Remus, the founders of Rome, were believed to have been cared for by a she-wolf or lupa. The priests would sacrifice a goat for fertility and a dog for purification. They would then strip the goat's hide into strips, dip them into the sacrificial blood, and take it out to the streets. Men sacrificing goats and dogs. Creepy, but okay, I get it. It was old times. But no, it doesn't end there. After the sacrifice of the goat and dog, men would whip women with the bloody hides of the animals they had just slain. And to put this more into the real atmosphere and picture, the Romans would be intoxicated and without clothes, and far from being fearful, Roman women would line up for the men and welcome the touches of the hides, because it was believed to make them more fertile in the coming year. And this spine-chilling festival actually included a matchmaking lottery, in which all the young women in the city would place their names in a big urn. The city's bachelors would each choose a name and become paired for the year with his chosen woman. These matches often ended in marriage. The ancient Romans may also be responsible for the name of our modern-day love. Emperor Claudius II executed 2 men, both named Valentine on February 14th of different years in the 3rd century. Their martyrdom was honored by the Catholic Church with the celebration of Saint Valentine's Day. Hold on. What? How did we just go from pagan Rome to Christianity? Well, after Christianity spread to Rome and other lands, and Emperor Constantine converted to Christianity, he and the Church adopted existing pagan rituals and customs into Christianity in order to convert more pagans. For example, Christmas was originally a celebration known as Saturnalia. But Valentine's Day wasn't something that was galvanized into Christianity during the time of Constantine. It all happened in the 5th century. So let's fast forward to where it all started. The execution. The Catholic Church recognizes at least 3 different saints named Valentine, all of whom were martyred. One legend contends that Valentine was a priest who served during the 3rd century in Rome. When Emperor Claudius II decided that single men made better soldiers than those with wives and families, he outlawed marriage for young men. Valentine realized the injustice of the decree, defied Claudius, and continued to perform marriages for young lovers in secret. When Valentine's actions were discovered, Claudius ordered that he be put to death. Still, others insist that it was Saint Valentine of Terni, a bishop, who was the true namesake of the holiday. He too was beheaded by Claudius II outside of Rome. Other stories suggest that Claudius may have been killed for attempting to help Christians escape harsh Roman prisons, where they were often persecuted. According to one legend, an imprisoned Valentine actually sent the first Valentine greeting himself after he fell in love with a young girl, possibly his jailer's daughter. Before his death, it is alleged that he wrote her a letter signed "From your Valentine," an expression that is still used today. Now coming to the time of Pope Gelasius I, he muddled things in the 5th century by combining St. Valentine's Day with Lupercalia to Christianize the pagan holiday and bring in more converts. But the festival now was more of a theatrical interpretation of what it once had been, but at least they put their clothes back on. Around the same time, the Normans celebrated Galatine's Day. Galatin meant lover of women. That was likely confused with St. Valentine's Day at some point, in part because they sound alike. As the years went on, the holiday grew sweeter. Chaucer and Shakespeare romanticized it in their work, and it gained popularity throughout Britain and the rest of Europe. During the Middle Ages, it was commonly believed in France and England that February the 14th was the beginning of birds' mating season, which added to the idea that the middle of Valentine's Day should be a day for romance. The English poet Geoffrey Chaucer was the first to record St. Valentine's Day as a day of romantic celebration in his 1375 poem, Parliament a Fool, writing, "For this was on St. Valentine's Day, when every fool cometh there to choose his mate." Valentine's greetings were popular as far back as the Middle Ages, though written valentines didn't begin to appear until after 1400. The oldest known valentines still in existence today was a poem written in 1445 and 1415 by Charles, Duke of Orleans, to his wife while he was imprisoned in the Tower of London following his capture at the Battle of Agincourt. The greeting is now part of the manuscript collection of the British Library in London, England. Several years later, it was believed that King Henry V
They ain't gonna read the letter? I thought they was gonna read it.
hired a writer named John Lingate to compose a Valentine note to Catherine of Valois. Now some of you might be thinking, so what about Cupid? I thought if anything, Valentines might have originated from him.
Good guess, but actually no. In fact,
Cupid is often portrayed on Valentine's Day cards as a cherub, launching arrows of love at unsuspecting lovers. But the Roman god Cupid has its roots in Greek mythology as the Greek god of love, Eros. Accounts of his birth vary. Some say he is the son of Nyx and Erebus, others of Aphrodite and Ares. Still others suggest he is the son of Iris and Zephyrus, or even Aphrodite and Zeus, who would have been both his father and grandfather. According to the Greek archaic poets, Eros was a handsome immortal, played with the emotions of gods and men, using golden arrows to incite love and lead in ones to sow aversion. It wasn't until the Hellenistic period that he began to be portrayed as the mischievous chubby child he'd become on Valentine's Day cards. Eventually, the tradition made its way to the New World. The Industrial Revolution ushered in factory-made cards in the 19th century, and in 1919, Hallmark Cards of Kansas City began mass-producing Valentines, and February has not been the same since.
No, it hasn't. Look, if you want to do something nice for your loved one, I got nothing against it. But I just feel like you guys should all see what really happened. We should see the history of what they're not telling us. So let's get back on these waters. And yes, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, so don't you worry.
The real history of Valentine's Day started in Roman times as a pagan ritual to Lupercalia. I know this because my daughter did a report on it for school. The men of the towns would strip naked and run down the streets, beating unmarried women or infertile women, because they thought the beatings would somehow cure them or help find them a husband. Then they sacrificed a dog.
That's not true. It's to celebrate Saint Valentine, the patron saint of love.
Saint Valentine? The patron saint of epileptics, not lovers.
You're a liar!
And you're...
Let me in!
the association between mid-February and romance goes back to a pagan festival known as Lupercalia, likely honoring either Lupa, the she-wolf of Rome, who suckled Romulus and Remus, or Faunus, their god of fertility. The festivities began with an animal sacrifice. Then the ritualistic slapping of young women with
Look how crazy they look, man. Suckling on the pig. Look how crazy he looks. Whatever they accusing of bro here, right? Whatever they accusing of him of, he's guilty. 100%. He did it.
or Faunus, their god of fertility. The festivities began with an animal sacrifice. then the ritualistic slapping of young women with strips of the animal's skin and blood to bestow fertility for the coming year. In the 5th century, perhaps in an effort to
Now we
Christianize the pagan festival, Pope Gelasius declared February 14th as St. Valentine's Day.
You know the real history of Valentine's Day?
Red rose.
Venus is the mother of Cupid. Her favorite flower was the red rose, which then associated the red rose with love. Because Valentine's Day became associated with love, in honor of the goddess Venus, or Aphrodite, the goddess of love, red roses became synonymous with Valentine's Day. Just remember, if you look up most customs of today, you will often find a god in connection with it. Does this mean it's to love a red rose? Obviously not, but you should know why it is connected with Valentine's Day. Buying red roses for your loved one does not make you a I want to make that clear.
There is many Bible scriptures that says that he is one God and is no other gods with him. And it is Bible scriptures that do talk about fleeing from. Here's the thing. It's not bad. It's only bad if you do it with the wrong person and at the wrong time. There's 365 days in a year. It's many days you and whoever you're with can express your love for each other. Now this part is mostly for saved people. I recommend you guys do his will, because if it wasn't for him, he wouldn't even bless you guys to be.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt this young brother, but I like this dude a lot. It's just something you can tell when someone has an innocent and pure soul. You know, they're not on that spirituality. They're not trying to get you to unlock some awakened conscience. You know, you can see it without you can see their glow without even, saying a word. You know, this brother will give you the shirt off his back out of pure love. Now let's go back, and I'm sorry, brother, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Let's go back. Let's get your full context out the way without my interruption. My apologies, brother.
Clear.
There is many Bible scriptures that says that he is one God and is no other gods with him. And it is Bible scriptures that do talk about fleeing from. Here's the thing. It's not bad. It's only bad if you do it with the wrong person and at the wrong time. There's 365 days in a year. It's many days you and whoever you're with can express your love for each other. Now this part is mostly for saved people. I recommend you guys do his will, because if it wasn't for him, he wouldn't even bless you guys to be together. Here's the thing. Regardless if these holidays look good, we need to be examples of him and be set apart. Again, I really hope this video helps somebody. And again, I hope everyone has a God bless day. Until next time, guys, goodbye.
Huge shout out. Stop what you're doing and go follow this young brother. This is the future. If I know a lot of you guys don't like using TikTok, so don't worry. I'll be posting some more videos of them in the future. Shout out to this young brother. I like seeing that, man. I love that.
It's a beautiful day when you walk into your store and somebody turned the power switch off on the freezer for the ice cream cakes. Welcome to owning a business. I feel blessed. True love in the trash.
Okay. Two bags, you know what I mean?
You know, it's a shame that happens to her business. It looks like she got 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. This is probably about $400 or $500 worth of cake. And materials, it probably didn't, cost her that much, but a finished completion, these is probably $40, $30, $40 cakes. In between 30, 40 cakes, she probably lost about 4, 16. She's probably lost about, a good $300, $400.
Love in the trash. That one looked good. Peanut butter cup in the trash. Valentine meh in the trash. I feel blessed to own a business with all your ice cream cakes melting. Nice. She's still intact. It's a beautiful day.
That looks so peaceful. That actually looks extremely peaceful.
Let me check my Palm Pilot. Look like I ain't doing. Let me check my Palm Pilot. Look like I ain't doing.
Let's go.
Why this man so mad? Why this man so mad?
This is a great idea for those of y'all that still do it. I get it, man. You love somebody. You just want to show someone you love them. You don't know nothing about the past or the history. Trust me, I get it. I've done it before, you know, but I just feel like, they going hard. They put the phone in there. Man, they going crazy. Go sit down. Dad's working, please. Okay, in a second. Dad's almost done. I get it, man. Y'all want to go hard for the people y'all love. You put a brand new phone in there. There is a light at the end of this tunnel. Let's break down what love actually is.
7 types of love according to the Bible. The Bible describes different types of love using various Greek words. Here are some of the key types of love mentioned in the Bible. Number 1. Agape love. This is often considered the highest form of love in the Bible. Agape love is selfless, sacrificial, and unconditional. It's the love that God has for humanity and the love that Christians are called to show to others. It's described in passages like 1 Corinthians 13 and John 3:16. Number 2. Philia love. Philia refers to brotherly love or affectionate friendship. It's the type of love shared among close friends and family members. The word Philadelphia comes from this root, meaning brotherly love. Number 3. Storge love. Storge is a natural or familial affection. It's the love that exists between family members, such as the love between parents and children or among siblings. Number 4. Eros love. While the term eros is not explicitly used in the Bible, the concept of romantic or erotic love is present in the Song of Solomon, also called the Song of Songs. This book celebrates the beauty and passion of romantic love within the context of marriage. Number 5. Filial love. This is a specific type of affectionate love or friendship, often associated with companionship and loyalty. It's used in passages like John 21:15, 17, where Jesus asks Peter if he loves him, using both agape and phileo. Number 6. Pragma love. This is enduring love, often seen in long-term marriages or committed relationships. It involves deep understanding, compromise, and shared goals. Number 7. Charity. The term charity is sometimes used in older translations of the Bible to translate the Greek word agape. Charity emphasizes the selfless and giving nature of agape love, as seen in 1 Corinthians 13. Understanding these different types of love can help you appreciate the richness of human relationships and the depth of God's love for humanity as described in the Bible. Drop an amen if you have God in your heart. 7 types of love according to the Bible.
Do you know there are many kinds of love? Such as agape, selfless love. This is a love that is unconditional, self-sacrificing, and often referred to as divine love. It's about caring for someone else's well-being without expecting anything in return. Eros, romantic love. This pertains to passionate love, with sensual desire and longing. It is the kind we often associate with romantic relationships. Philia.
And Eros is short for erotic.
And we often associate with romantic relationships. Philia, friendly love. This is the love between friends. It's about companionship, trust, and shared interests. Storge, familial love. This kind of love is typically between parents and their children. It represents acceptance, sacrifice, and deep emotional connection. Pragma, enduring love. This is love that has aged and matured and is seen in long-term relationships and marriages. It is a combination of commitment and shared history. Philautia, self-love. This is the love one has for oneself. It can be healthy or unhealthy, depending on whether it's associated with self-care and self-esteem, or narcissism and self-centeredness. Ludus, playful love. This is the affection between young lovers or flirtatious interactions. It can be thought of as the honeymoon phase of relationships. Mania, obsessive love. This refers to an intense, possessive form of love, often characterized by obsession and a need for control. The definition and understanding of love can vary based on context, and it remains one of humanity's most discussed and cherished subjects.
See, there's so many words for love. So when someone says, I love you, or love, which love are you talking about? But most importantly, the main one is agape love for the Heavenly Father and the Creator.
What does love feel like for you? I think I would describe love as happiness. I think I'd describe it as a beautiful journey. You know, it has its ups and downs, right? Whether it's in marriage or whether it's in the career, you know, things are never perfect.
Yeah.
But through love, you continue to persevere and you move through. And then through that storm, beautiful sun emerges.
Yeah.
Right. And inevitably another storm comes. And guess what? You ride that one out too.
Yeah.
So I think love is a certain determination and persistence to go through the good times and the bad times with someone or something that you truly love.
What does love feel like for you?
I think I would describe love as happy.
Good evening, everyone. God put something on my heart, and I wanted to tell you guys something that don't be deceived tomorrow. The enemy is a thief of joy, and you'll see certain things on social media, and you know it might make you feel like you have to rush into love if you're not in a relationship right now. But trust and believe that God is He does everything in His perfect timing. So wait on that man of God if you're not in a relationship. I'm talking for singles because I'm single myself and God is my husband right now. And, you know, know really what love is. True love is agape love. It's love that is selfless. It's love that doesn't come with any things attached to it. It's love that holds no record. That's the highest form of love. And know that God loves you and that your identity is in Christ. You are loved, you are chosen, you are accepted, you are approved, you are forgiven, you are made new, you are victorious. Always know that, even if you are in a relationship with someone and God sent you that person, know that you are still loved by God. No matter what, we are loved by God, and God loves us. And agape love is what love truly is. The love that God shows us. And if you don't know truly what that is, look into what agape love is, because God will help you. The way God loves on us, you want God to help you love on others like that.
Love is an act of service. Love is putting your needs before my own. It's understanding that through my service, through my unconditional acceptance of who you are, comes freedom and healing. Love is patient and hopeful. It roots for redemption, and so when it sees you acting out of character, when it sees you in need of a little extra time to get through what you've been through, it allows you. It allows you to go through the process. It takes the space that comes with it. It endures the pain that follows because it remains hopeful. In a world that is so filled with darkness, it remains hopeful. Love in its simplest form is an act of service. It's giving without expecting in return. It's generous in its flow. Love is an act of service. Love is putting your needs before my own.
I'm going to be very straightforward. You're not going to get love until you know how to love yourself, because then you'll know how to actually receive it, and you'll actually know when you're experiencing it. As humans, we yearn for agape love. Agape love is unmerited, it's unconditional, it's unwavering, it's powerful, it heals, and it's raw. But when you're expecting agape love from someone else, it becomes unrealistic. See, there's two things about agape love that are extremely misunderstood. One is how it's received, and two is how it's given. One, agape love can only be received from God. I call it God, I call it Holy Spirit, Jesus Christ. You may call it something else, but it's a higher spiritual being that obviously is not human because it is so powerful and it's otherworldly. Two, you can only give agape love to yourself, because when you are dealing with yourself, it says to love your neighbor as you love yourself. That is something you can give yourself unconditional love. I know a lot of people struggle with that. That's why they have a lot of combating thoughts, cognitive dissonance, a lot of things, because they challenge themselves, their internal dialogue, fight with themselves because they don't know how to forgive themselves. They don't know how to let go of guilt and shame. They let bitterness take over them. A lot of things. But you can exercise unconditional love to yourself. The mistake is we try to seek unconditional love from someone else. I'm sorry to inform you, but that is basically impossible. Now, there are certain tendencies that can be exercised that are derivatives of agape love that you can find and feel in romantic relationships, platonic relationships, even with strangers, showing respect and consideration. That is very highly diluted forms of agape love because it's something that we can express. But as humans, we have limitations. Television, media, books, a lot of things have put an unrealistic expectation on what love is between other humans, but we forget as humans that we have mental, spiritual, and emotional thresholds that frankly we don't really know when or how they can be met. So if something does to happen and a relationship changes or love is gone, we have to remember that as humans we can't expect another human to love us as something as big as God can, because it's impossible. Remember, start learning how to receive agape love from the Creator, how to provide agape love to yourself, and you can better exercise certain tendencies of agape love and extend it to others.
Well said, sister.
From the day that you put your faith in Jesus, you have never walked alone, even though you may have thought it. And I know that the enemy does everything in his power to convince you that Christ's love for you is conditional, but it is not. Every price that needed to be paid, Jesus paid it on the cross. He died so that you don't have to. He understands the struggles and the sins and the weaknesses and the foolishness and the things that we go through, the trauma, the sickness. But in all of our life, no matter where we go or what lines we crossed, our King never, ever, ever forsakes us, which means every day that we live, there is hope in this life. And so if you're in this room this morning or you're at home, maybe you didn't come to church today because of the decisions that you made last night and you felt like the last thing God wanted to do was see you this morning. I'm telling you right here, he suffered and he died so that he could be with you every single day of your life and for all of eternity. Our Jesus never leaves us and he never forsakes us. And for that reason, we can move on every day, no matter what we did or thought or said, because our King is with us and he walks with us. And there's some days, man, I need to know that I can't out-struggle, out-sin, out-foolish, that I can't cost myself my relationship with Jesus, because if I could, I would. Can I get an amen? He never leaves us. He never forsakes us. And for that alone, he's worthy to be worshiped.
That's agape love.
Let's talk a little bit while I drive, Chuck. Got a little bit of a drive. On my mind is agape love, unconditional love, God's love. And I think we as Christians, we fail at that greatly. I know I do. I'm preaching to myself when I say this, but we claim we love people, but the reality is, what about those people that hurt us? What about those people that left us or betrayed us or whatever the issue is? Can you honestly say that, like, you love them and you bless them and you want them to succeed in their endeavors or whatever happens in their life? And, man, I suck at that. I'm just going to be brutally honest with you. I mean, there's people that I've hated for things they've done or how they hurt me or whatever the issue is. But I don't have a chance to experience God's full grace for me or the breakthrough that he wants in my life unless I learn to love him, unless I learn to care for those people still, even despite what they did. You know, Jesus does that for us. Like I fail him so greatly in so many ways, but yet he still chose to pick up the cross for me. So who am I to not do that for other people? So this is just me saying, I got to work on it. I got to get better. Like I want to be able to pray for those people that have hurt me and pray for blessings. Like, let it break my heart. Let me cry for them and truly mean it. So let's just strive to be better together. Strive to love people more. See y'all.
Sometimes that's all you need to offer a person who's in a situation like that, is like just to be present. And she was present for me at a time when I didn't deserve to have nobody in my life. She's a real one. She's a real one. It's the first time I really understood love, because I didn't have nothing to give. And I was sitting there thinking like, well, I don't have nothing. It's not sexy to be with me. And you're showing up for me like you're gonna be tied to this shit? It didn't make no fucking sense. And love is irrational that way. You can't rationalize real love. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Sometimes that's all you need to offer a person who's in a situation like that, is like
one more time.
Present. And she was present for me at a time when I didn't deserve to have nobody in my life. She's a real one. She's a real one. It's the first time I really understood love, because I didn't have nothing to give. And I was sitting there thinking like, well, I don't have nothing. It's not sexy to be with me. And you're showing up for me like you're gonna be tied to this shit? It didn't make no fucking sense. And love is irrational that way. You can't rationalize real love. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Sometimes that's all you...
This man found something very strange in Egypt in 1988, and I'm not surprised we have heard nothing about it since. So his name is Gregor Spori. He is Swiss. He's a researcher, he's an author, he's an archaeologist. He's like Indiana Jones. Listen to what he did. He met with a group in Cairo, and these guys were grave robbers, and the word had spread that they found something really interesting, and he wanted to get it off them. What they handed him in a bundle of rags would change the course of his life. He unrolled the bag and found a 16-inch giant mummified finger. You can even see the bone sticking out the other end. A 16-inch finger, they did the math, it would make the creature that had this finger be 16 feet tall. Disclaimer, this video is meant for purely entertainment purposes only, and it's not to be taken as a fact. This could be totally a hoax, but some stuff in ancient times about giants, it just seems a bit too... So, it may very well be fake, but if it's real, this is a giant, damn giant, man. 16 freaking feet, can you imagine? And this is a mural that was in a pyramid in Sudan with a giant holding 2 elephants. It could just be cool artwork, it could be metaphorical. But all I know is an elephant's longer than 16 feet probably, and so that would make this guy very tall. Maybe there was different types of giants. If they existed, they could be totally fake. Comment below if you thought you'd see a giant mummified finger on Instagram today.
Oh my God. That thing.
This man
real.
found something.
It looked real. 100% real. We got to see that again. We have to see that again.
An archaeologist. He's like Indiana Jones. Listen to what he did. He met with a group in Cairo, and these guys were grave robbers, and the word had spread that they found something really interesting, and he wanted to get it off them. What they handed him in a bundle of rags would change the course of his life. He unrolled the bag and found a 16-inch giant
finger. You can't make that up. You cannot make that up. You can see the fingernail. Oh, they're trying to hide that. They're definitely trying to hide that. For entertainment purposes only, that is definitely real. 100%. Unbelievable. That is shocking. I'm pretty sure that they got giants hidden somewhere, but the fact that this is a finger, let me know y'all thoughts below on this one.
Hey guys, check out this amazing video of what appears to look like some type of ship or UFO object coming out of the moon. With the hundreds of videos that are populating all over the internet, I've seen all sorts of UFO videos, but this one here definitely got my attention. Because when I look at this video, obviously the quality is absolutely perfect. And it doesn't look like CGI or some sort of AI video. And what we can see is some sort of Tic Tac UFO, the same Tic Tac UFO the Navy claimed they chased here in the United States. What Hey guys, check out this amazing video.
This is literally crazy. I want to say it's real, but look at the shadow. The shadow really doesn't line up. Well, it might, but how can you have shadow and plasma is my first question. You know, I'd have to see the shadow again. Yeah, that shadow is going a little bit too far. But then again, I don't know. You guys let me know your thoughts below. The shadow doesn't really correlate from the movement of the actual UFO. So it's definitely weird and strange. Definitely strange. I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts on that.
There is a massive injustice going on in the automotive industry that few people are talking about. Now, some may say it's obvious, but if it was really that obvious to the vast majority of the masses, then things would seriously change. So this is a 1985 F-250, okay? These trucks were built to last. This was during an era where car manufacturer companies, vehicle manufacturers, are trying to make better and better and longer lasting and stronger and more durable vehicles. If you took care of your vehicle like this, it could still be running today. Yeah, you got to change a few belts. There's a couple, things that may need to be replaced, but the engine can last. And the material it's built out of was much thicker grade aluminum or steel. Now contrast this to today's vehicles. The gauge of metal that the body is made of is much thinner. There's a lot more plastic and a lot of parts that are made in China. There's a lot more things that can go wrong. It's so computerized. You'd think over the last 100 years, a technology would have been developed and made that can make vehicles last a lot longer and be more durable and be more fuel efficient. It's almost like planned obsolescence, like Apple got caught doing with the new updates on their older phones. Look at the difference of interior even. Look at the detail in some of these vintage car interiors and compare it to today. Much less detail, bland. It reminds me of modern day architecture compared to the 1800s Victorian architecture. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below if there's some type of plan afoot here.
There's definitely a plan in foot. They trying to make money. They want you to keep bringing them into the dealership because more problems are arising. It's much safer to have those old school vehicles. It's nothing but straight metal in case someone runs into you or something, versus your car just disintegrating because it's just made of plastic. Yeah, man, I'm an old school type of guy.
Okay, if you're at all mentally unstable or fragile, don't watch this one. So I've made a lot of videos about organoid intelligence in the past. That's where you take human brain cells and grow them in a petri dish and then use a computer to train them just like AI. They're actually more powerful than AI in that they learn quicker and are more energy efficient, but there are huge ethical concerns with them because they have similar brain activity to a premature baby. And there's a lot of people out there that object to these because there's a decent amount of evidence that they're conscious, just like a person. I recently posted a company called Final Spark, and they actually have something called Neural Platform where you can rent out essentially server space on these organoid brains, so you can pay for them to do things for you. This is a live stream of the organoid brain computers that you can rent out, but there's something way more concerning on their website, and that's this simulation which the brains are fed sensory data from so that they can feel everything the butterfly feels and control it to fly around. The reason why that's terrifying is there's a good chance the brains, if they are conscious, just believe they are that butterfly. Because when they're not in use by someone purchasing their computational power, they just fly around and exist in that simulation. And you probably already see where I'm going with this, but if this is possible, you could make a pretty good case that we are just organoid brains somewhere, and this is the simulation that we're in. And maybe when you daydream or just fall asleep, that's someone using your consciousness to do something else. I don't know, but crazy to think about. Crazy time. Okay, if you're at all.
That is definitely crazy. Oh my God. AI using actual brains? Just when you thought you've seen it all. Let me know your guys' thoughts on that. I'm interested to hear that.
Rock supposedly contains red mercury inside of it, and it was found in Egypt, and it can do strange things. This, for example, is what the man is going to experiment right now with the water bottle. He approaches the rock, see what happens. Now he's going to experiment with the bottle of Coca-Cola, and this is what happens. Check this out. Now, red mercury is supposedly a substance that does not exist. It was technically used in the 40s to produce atomic bombs or something like that. Check this out. However, it was never proved that it existed. There's a lot to know about red mercury. There's a lot of videos going on, and if you'd like to know more, Leave a like for part 2 and I'll explain everything.
This stuff right here is so mysterious. I honestly don't know what it is. What does it say on there? Does anybody know what that says on the bottle? It looks like it says 1320 and 1228. So whatever is on this bottle, whatever this is, they didn't had this for over 700 years. By the looks of it, 1268, 1320. So what, I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, I really believe it's turning the water red and it's making the Coke bottles explode. Drop in the comments below what you guys think that is.
Grains, which is the seeds of grass. You can't break down gliadin. You can't break down prolamine. You can't break down wheat germ or gluten. You can't break down the polypeptide derived chains that come from these things. You can't miss the acid ash and the carbonic acids that come from these things. And your stomach can't break them down, so they tear up your intestinal tract. Then we're going to go to the citric acid nightshades you call tomatoes with 88% H2O2. This is going to break down super fast, which is going to break down on top of these seeds, and it's going to create mold, and it's going to create fermentation and fungus in your system. Now, this is the reason why you have patchy skin, psoriasis. So, you mix them with the dairy, the lactose, the number one carcinogenic for asthma, for bronchitis, for all types of upper respiratory diseases. You mix it with that. Then you have the nerve to say, add some lettuce on that, dog. See, we have the complex that we think if we add lettuce, like we're herbivores when we're frugivores. You're not herbivore, you're frugivore. You get the complex that this is going to make this burger better. You made it more complex. Then on top of that, you want to add meat. And again, heterocyclic amines, polycyclic, aromatic hydrocarbons. Look these things up. Look up the polypeptide chains. Look at what you call stress meats and how they kill these animals. And then you are eating these dopamines. You're eating this acetylcholine. You're eating the adrenaline and the adrenal other meats. And then you start having anxiety. Your thyroid go down. Your cholesterol raises from eating these stress meats because you haven't realized that the animals is your brothers and sisters, because we have been taught and trained by another people to look at these things like they are inferior to us. Ooh, wee. Then you have the nerve to say, let me get that with a side of fries, dog. Side of fries, a potato, which is 90% water. Now, you got the wrong potato as that, because most of the potatoes you got is GMO. Not only that, you're going to mix this potato, which is 90% water, with hot oil. And you're going to turn this oil over 300 degrees. So now you're mixing oil and water, and water and oil do not mix. They teach you this in elementary school. Water and oil don't mix, so the body is going to choose to break down one first. So guess what the body is going to break down and digest? The water and the potato. Guess what it's going to do to the oil? It's called a fontanelle. Look it up. Fontanelle. Alternative route of elimination. It is literally going to push all of the oil in pockets of the body. Now guess what? The pockets can't stand it, so it's going to push it into the bloodstream. The bloodstream can't stand it, so it's going to call calcium. Calcium is going to then plaque the oil on the artery walls. When too much plaquing of cholesterol builds up, they call this what? Heart attack. Oh man. You see why these things are not made to be mixed, are not made to be combined? Do you see that? We have to rightfully and righteously start combining our foods.
Man, it's for some reason I believe them. Like, we're supposed to eat plants, man. We're not really supposed to be eating all this meat. It does say in a good book, I believe in Romans, that whoever doesn't eat meat won't have a strong soul. You can look that up, because I remember looking at that before. We got to do better, man, especially if you ain't feeling the best. I highly recommend just eating straight raw vegetables. I know it's tough, man. Trust me, especially growing up eating double cheeseburgers. Man, Denny's makes a bad double cheeseburger, boy. I just put meat and cheese on mine, man. Them patties, that burger be like that thick, but that ain't it, y'all. This meat ain't really it.
Red rice is a poison. The only rice that is made on this planet that was made by God is that one that we call the wild rice. Red rice is a poison.
I love rice too, man. I love white rice with some butter, throw some Tonys on it. I love it. You know what I'm saying? Where can we even buy wild rice at? It says the only real rice is wild rice. I mean, I like wild rice too. I think I had it a couple times, but not like white rice, man. No, definitely fried rice with eggs. Ain't it either. Uh-oh, Tyler Hansen popped up. Yes, this is Tyler Hansen, Hansen. This man is unstoppable.
Absolutely profound happening with me and alligators. And I'm going to try to explain it. And honestly, I'm going to ask for some help because I don't fully understand what it is that's going on. But I was on a bike ride today in my very own neighborhood, and this alligator sensed my presence. And not only did it sense it, but it was drawn to me. And it came over and just stared at me for minutes. But this isn't the first encounter I've had with alligators. Not by a long shot. And the other ones that I've encountered, well, they make this one look like an ant. Let me explain. You see, before I moved to Florida, I traveled to the Northeast for a month. And just on a very simple sightseeing tour, I made my wife stop the car immediately because I saw something. I saw something huge. And while you might not see it right here, all outlined in black, even with an eyeball, when I do a side-by-side for you, I think it's pretty hard to deny that there is an alligator there, petrified, that's the size of a bus. And in all the research and in all the videos and pictures I have found of people finding giant petrified animals, I have never seen this one. And like I said, I was there. This was from my very own camera. So not only do I feel like I was the very first person to find this giant petrified alligator, but only a month later, now living in Florida, I decided to research the Devil's Tower some more because it being a petrified tree didn't really sit well with me. And what I found was clear as day. But this time, the alligator I found wasn't the size of a bus. It was the size of a city. And you can see here with its eye, the Devil's Tower, and its snout. And you could even see in the terrain remnants of its giant claw. And what the Devil's Tower actually was just one of the prongs on the alligator's giant back. So not only did I find a giant bus-sized petrified alligator in New Hampshire, but I found a city-sized one in Wyoming. One that's hard to deny when you see the remnants. And today I literally had one that seemed to be stalking me. But maybe it wasn't stalking me. Maybe it was trying to give me a message. Because when I looked up alligators in Scripture, it resonated greatly with me. Because not only does it talk about an alligator's strength and power, but it talks about how an alligator lurks beneath the water's surface, patiently waiting to strike. And it reminds us of the unseen forces of evil that seek to ambush believers. And I feel like I've experienced that greatly lately, even to the point where people befriend you and wait and get your confidence and then strike when the time is right. But an alligator also reminds us to be resilient and weather life's challenges and to always keep on the spiritual armor of God. And when looking into the spiritual meaning of an alligator outside of the Bible, it talks about returning to your primal instincts and senses. And that's something I've been doing a lot lately because for 42 years of my life, I was taught that my senses and my instincts weren't right. Like looking at the sun and being told that the earth is moving when clearly it's the sun. So maybe, just maybe, finding giant, incredibly unimaginable big alligators was just God's way of saying, keep that armor on, son. And this monster wasn't coming at me as foe, but as friend to deliver a message that maybe I just hadn't received yet. But all of this was just for entertainment purposes. I know there's no such thing as giant city-sized or bus-sized alligators, because things definitely, without a doubt, were not much, much bigger before the flood that covered the entire world.
I do believe that there were giant animals, but this one, I almost would feel like if it was a prong poking out from an alligator, we will see multiple of these protruding. And if we look at the Devil's Tower, it literally looks cut, like the angels labored at that giant tree. Like, I'm all with trying to find giant petrified animals. I hear you. And I see the snout. But I think this one might be a reach, just because we don't see multiple prominent Devil's Towers protruding out. But the rock formation he pulled over and took a snapshot of, that could definitely been a petrified one as well. But a giant one as big as a city, I get it. I see the snout, but if there was multiple protruding Devil's Towers out and maybe, a little bit more action, we will see it. But we can see right here, that's just one arm, one back leg at that. But I don't know. You guys tell me. That's just my initial thoughts looking at it.
And things like this giant claw, it's just pareidolia. Entertainment only.
Sir, I need to ask what you do for a living.
A lot of things.
A lot of things? Can you give me anything?
Yeah, it depends. Something smoking.
Something smoking? No. Any industry?
No.
No?
I'm 21.
21. Okay.
You got to take a rough guess.
Okay, I think I know. Thank you, sir.
Daddy's money, if you ask me. Inherited it. That car's all right. I'm not in love with it. I guess I don't see the big picture of it, but it looks cool, I guess. 10 million. I could put a lot of people that need homes in a home before I drive something like that around. Got a lot of people, a lot of mouths I could feed. You could feed damn near an entire town for 6 months buying bulk food for that much money. That's just how I look at it. Sell this thing for that much and put up a couple foundations. How many wholesale winter coats can I get for kids that need coats? You know what I'm saying? Before y'all see me flossing in any type of $10 million car. You know what I'm saying? I just I ain't cut like that. He's basically saying, he's looking at him like a microwave and he's saying dinner's done. Is that what he pulled out his phone? If this is even real, why even pull out your phone? Like, we'll believe you. Just tell the story. Save yourself first. The cloud is not that important.
This is Isaac Newton. He was a lunatic. He had mercury in his hair. He was studying the Temple of Solomon.
So he had mercury poisoning?
Mercury poisoning. And this is Newtonian physics. Look at Tesla. He's like on a date thinking about Faust, seeing a vision of like alternating current engine. These are the people who warped society permanently. There was nothing tame, domesticated, or normal about them. So it's just weird that this thing has emerged. Science is somehow like filled with just very normal, completely professional people when the history of it seems to be littered with maniacs. This is Isaac Newton.
He said mercury in his hair. Maybe it just got a little gray. Real mercury? That's wild.
They went up above the storm and they were filming these things, not knowing really what they are. They're still a mystery to scientists today. Even the people that took these pictures have their interpretations of what they've seen. They really didn't know what it was. They were kind of going with sort of a mainstream narrative. But I'm going to show you this, and when I show it to you and compare it to the footage that you've seen of the firmament from our previous videos, it's going to blow your mind. And I don't know about you, but it's made me emotional. It was kind of hard to even sit down and start this video in the first place. But you can see right here some of their footage of these lightning sprites shooting out of the firmament. When they play it in slow motion and you brighten it, it's very easy to see the structure above us that's been mentioned in the Bible and just read over and ignored for many centuries. I mean, this is something that I don't know how we missed it, but I do know how we missed it. But look at this footage here of a geyser out in, I believe this is Greenland. And I'm going to compare side by side both of these and just look at it. And you can't deny the waters below when you see this. This is something that it's like an exact replica. It's breathtaking. I'm going to leave it up here for you. Just look at it, analyze it, let us know what you think. I can't unsee stuff like this. This is something you just can't unsee. And I just thank the Father for revealing it to all of us as He is, because there is a mountain of lies out there that we have all been exposed to, and there are more to come. So just know the truth about creation. This earth is not moving. There is a firmament above us. We've seen it. It's there. And it's time to find out what our true purpose really is. We are no accident. There was no Big Bang explosion that caused all of this. This is the Father's handiwork.
Guys, I know we did a video on this yesterday, but this is high quality. A new video. Well, this is probably an older video, but someone remastered it. I'm glad they did, because it shows you. Unbelievable.
This man
went right.
This man found something very strong.
They went up above.
There's something.
They went up above the storm.
There's something huge going on, and y'all have got to know about it. My research for the last 13 years just took a very disturbing turn. So we all know about the theory that there's PNCs walking among us, people that aren't really people. It's a lot deeper than that. The Schumann frequency and its new record comes highly into play with what we're talking about right now, but we'll get to that in a second. I'm going to try to explain this as quickly as possible. So there's many different beings walking around us every single day. But the PNC that people are referring to, they're not really PNCs, they're actually soulless individuals. This has finally been accomplished over the last 6 decades. Now, I'm not at liberty to tell you guys how this has been accomplished, but the important thing is, it has been accomplished.
I'm at liberty. Go back and watch my Cabbage Patch videos. They talking about the Industrial Revolution and all that. Just a whole bunch of incubator babies from test tubes. Where did they get it? How they do it? I don't know. But that's how they did it. Hey, check it out, man. All these insane asylums, you know, they getting visages, they're getting visions, they know what's going on, they trying to make people forget. That's what happened. For entertainment purposes, of course. Let me know what you think happened.
So we know the eyes are a window to the soul, correct? First thing to point out, the soul is not the spirit's not the soul. The soul is the living entity. When God breathes life, it breathes a living entity into someone. Soulless people are not spiritless people. Spirit is the inner being that lives in the flesh suit. The soul is the life. An example of that is if you get a little rodent and hold it against its will for a day or two in your hands, you will break its soul. It will no longer be who it was before by nature. So there are many people among us right now and their soul has been broken. These people are living without any drive, barely any emotion, and a complete inability to see anything in the spiritual nature of this world. They are basically unalive walking beside us that cannot see and cannot hear the things that we see and that we hear. And you can see this in the dullness of their eyes. And that's exactly why when people see grays, what do they see? Nothingness, emptiness in their big black eyes. We're not going to get into what the grays are right now. You can see that here. But they're semi-physical, semi-spiritual creatures without a soul. Spirit driving the machine, but no soul. Do not get the two mixed up. Spirit, soul, completely different. There's a reason that no matter how hard you try to wake these people up, to show these people things, they just cannot receive it. These people are just like walking corpses. They literally...
Just a quick interject, in the book of Isaiah, it says, let me pull it out. Poured out upon you the spirit of the deep sleep, and has closed your eyes, the prophets and your rulers. The ears has he covered, and the visions of all has come unto you of the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver it to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he says, I cannot, for it is sealed. And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he says this, I have not learned. So no matter what you try to do, that book is sealed. Let's see what it says in the ISR. For Yahuwah has poured out unto you the spirit of the deep sleep. I call that cryostasis, y'all. And he has covered your heads, the seers, and the entire vision is to you like the words of a book that is sealed, which men give to one who knows the books, saying, read this, please. And he said, I am unable, for it is sealed. And the book is given to one who not know books, saying, read this, please. And he says, I have not known books. Look, I'm saving that. We saving that. I need to dig off in this book more, man. Because when people just saying stuff, it'll just be like you know how Spider-Man has like Spidey senses tingling? I'll be having something else tingling, and it just be like, oh yeah, that was right there in Isaiah, baby.
Because otherwise, these soulless people, these NPCs, these people who have no understanding, these people would walk right off a cliff, and there's a giant cliff coming, and they'll walk right off of it, just by a simple command. As I said, the mission to steal the human soul goes back decades. There are very high, wicked principalities that are dominating the earth and the spiritual realm, and no one can even see them. And these things, they have a plan. Break the soul, hijack the being, and bring these people to the second death. Let me leave you with this. Where would the demons, the fallen angels, and Lucifer himself, where would they be most active? In the part that can't be seen by human eyes. Because they will narrate the entire story, and we will only see the physical manifestation of them, but the soulless beings cannot see it.
100. If you made it all the way, drop the 100 in the chat for the code word so I know you're a real one and you made it all the way through, man. I really appreciate you guys watching these whole bangers from start to finish. Real riders.